Blog Talk Radio.
All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the Haitian Freethinkers radio show on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Reggie, and as always, my co-host James is here, and we are here to bring you another exciting edition of the Haitian Freethinkers show. Haitian Freethinkers is a group of secular-minded Haitians. We primarily work on Facebook, but you can look us up on the web just by Googling Haitian Freethinkers. So today we're going to cover a few topics. Last week James mentioned that he was going to visit a church in his town in Florida, and so we're going to really touch up on that. We're going to touch up on some other topics, so let's dive right in. So James, what's going on?
Man, I'm doing good. Had a fast, positive week. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing good, and my week also has been pretty fast. Last week you said that you was going to visit a church, and we started talking about it before the show started. But so now that we're on live, can you give us the play-by-play of exactly what happened?
Yes. So basically, I'm just doing like a study, or seeing how I haven't been in church in so many years, so I just wanted to go back and just see what the message was like, and maybe see what changed or what hasn't changed. But I figure my study is probably a little flawed, because I grew up in the Church of Christ, and I know their message front and backwards and everything like that. So I probably should have went to a Church of Christ, because I know how they go. But basically, my visit, it was great. Basically the preacher was talking about family and friends and association. Basically making your friends who don't have family, make them your family, and basically the family of God. And basically it wasn't really a lot of scriptures, just mainly a lot of talking. The food was great. I ate turkey wings, rice, collard greens, and I think what was it? Macaroni and cheese. So it was awesome. We had a couple of looks from people. A couple of people asked me who invited me, and just so I just came in by myself and everything. And there was a lot of people there, so I was in a room watching it from the TV, and it was cool. The preacher didn't really preach for that long, probably about 45 minutes, and they had a lot of talking after that. Let me see what else happened. Oh, a lot of people were looking at me kind of funny. Every now and then I look a little, I look like I wasn't a regular, so I get a couple looks, and then after eating and everything like that, I just basically, faded away and walked out, and got away to make my great escape.
Okay.
Now, I noticed nobody caught like the Holy Ghost. Nobody was like, up and down screaming, nothing like that. But it was a lot of, agreeing and yelling and, that, but no Holy Ghost catch or nothing like that.
What denomination is that church?
Oh, yes, as a Methodist.
Okay. So can you compare the Methodist experience with the Church of Christ? For those who don't know, can you let them know what the Church of Christ is and what makes them different?
Church of Christ, they're more like a New Testament church. They believe, no instruments and certain stuff like that, dancing, and they're more fundamental. But in this church right here, when the Church of Christ, I know for sure, like everything they used to say, they used to kind of back it up with scripture. So if there was a certain part of the message, they would go to a scripture and then to back up what they're saying. But on this one right here, the guy would just say like maybe one scripture, then he'll say a whole bunch of stories and all kind of stuff that will go along with it. This church had instruments and they were playing music. Grew up in the Church of Christ. They believed in, the church that I grew up in, they believed in making music with your voice. No choir or anything like that. They had a little choir up there and everything. at the Methodist Church, but not at the Church of Christ. I grew up there. We did have singing groups, but no choir.
Okay, very well. Once again, everybody, this is the Haitian Freethinkers show. The guest call-in number is 646-652-4442. Once again, the guest call-in number is 646-652-4442. This is our third show. We've been keeping it steady on Saturday evenings at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll keep that schedule going until further notice. For those of you who wish to catch us, I know it's a little bit late in the evening for a lot of people, but we know we have a couple of fans out there, notably people in the Haitian Freethinkers group. So I want to give a shout out to everybody in there because that group has been doing pretty well. We are at 118, I believe, members right now. So I want to just thank everybody who's participating in that. So we talked about the church visit and everything went well. Why do you think you stood out?
Well, what do you mean? Why do I think what stood out? The church?
No, you said that like people would look at you and.
I had I had a bald head. I don't know. I just you just have that feeling. Like, I would just look around every now and then, and I just catch a face of somebody looking at me like, like I've never seen him around here or in the neighborhood before,
Oh, okay. So just like
I'm out and about in the neighborhood, but I don't really like if I'm not part of what's going on or doing whatever they're doing, I'm not gonna get involved in it. I know people through acquaintance, but I'm not really that well known in the neighborhood, I guess.
Okay, so just basically like the new person. So,
yeah.
did they do like the tradition? Like some churches I went to, they'll say like, "Do we have any visitors in the house?" Like,
yes, they did. I actually just stood there, and some people looked at me, and I just looked at them and just didn't say nothing. It's not like nobody pointed me out and said, "Hey, here's a new guy right here." I didn't say nothing, and I guess they respected the fact that I didn't say nothing. I guess that's why a lot of people were asking me, who would you go with? Who invited you? And stuff like that. You should come again this time. And I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I didn't want to think that, I just came for the food.
Okay. So, would you go back?
Only if they're serving food. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't. I can only take so much to church.
Okay. I mean, that's the honest answer. I mean, like truth be told, I mean, back in the day for me, if I'm visiting a church, it's most likely because a friend invited me. It'll be very rare for me to go like without an invite. And what keeps me there is like the vibe of the people. Whether the girls look good or not.
Oh man, church girls have not changed. They are still sexy. They're still looking good.
Okay, and also if they have like extra like perks like the food, so and today I actually kind of went to a church building to have a meeting with this group that I found out about that is quite interesting called Baji. And I'll talk about Baji a little bit more in the future, but they're interested in promoting some equality when it comes to immigration, especially for between Black Americans and African people in general. But I went to this old church here in Atlanta, and it was kind of surreal experience because I haven't been to a church in a while now, and I'm just looking at the stuff that they put on the walls, and because they have like a school for children, and it's different now. It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling, and it's kind of weird. So I definitely take my hats off to you for going over there, doing your thing. I mean, it was kind of cordial, and we kept it moving. So once again, this is the Haitian Freethinkers show. My name is Reggie with my co-host James, and the call-in number is 646-652-4442, 646-652-4442. Our show usually comes on live every Saturday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So give us a call. Look us up online, Haitian Freethinkers. You'll find plenty on us. We mainly operate on Facebook. So just Google us and you'll find us. So we're going to talk about Mr. Smith, Robert Smith.
Yes.
What you got on him?
Well, Robert Smith is a football player. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. He played 8 seasons with them, and he has here's a little bit about his record. He has second all-time rushing passing yards as far as like average on touchdowns, making average yards of 27.2 yards. He's in the he holds the all-time NFL record actually in that, and also second in rushing yards, only passed by Adrian Peterson September 9th, 2012, and he's also an atheist. Salon.com quoted him as being an atheist. And let me see what other notes I have. He's also a 2-time Pro Bowl in 2000 and also in 98, and the NFL Alumni Running Back of the Year in 2002. And also when he was in high school, he was USA Today High School All-American. So he's pretty talented guy, and basically he's an atheist, a free thinker. Now he was basically it was a quote. I can't, for some reason I can't put it up on my phone like I did before, but coach, head coach for the Indianapolis Colts actually, and he's the interim coach by the name of Bruce Arian, and he said that the Colts wouldn't want an atheist in their locker room. He says they're looking for a high-quality person who has a passion for football and cares about faith, family, and football. And basically, Robert Smith was basically saying that, it's unfair, that the organization, the NFL and everything, makes players feel obligated to, be Christians, or, they can't freely say they're not atheists, or they'll feel like they're not part of the team, They can't say they're atheists, though.
I don't know if you've been following the situation with the Miami Dolphins with the offensive linemen and bullying. Have you been following that?
Yeah, I haven't been following all everything exactly, but I did see there was a video of him in a bar. The guy, he was he was crazy. He took his shirt off and he was yelling. And I think he was yelling some about the one of the players on his team, Mike Pouncey or something.
Right.
My nigga and all this and all my N-words, but Pouncey, if I'm not mistaken, if he's the twin that I'm thinking he actually is from Lakeland, Florida, where I'm from.
Right.
The Pouncey twins, they're actually from Lakeland, Florida. They play for Lakeland High School, the same high school I graduated from. They have high school championships, and so I don't know them, but I know of them.
Roger. Yep, that's Richie Incognito, and yes, I saw a little bit of the clip of the video with his shirt off, acting all crazy-ish. I wonder. I mean, obviously, the dolphin situation is not about religion, but I wonder if Robert Smith would have any kind of story involving not necessarily bullying per se, but a situation where people are, they shun you for not being religious. Because as you know, it's a tradition that I think after the game, people gather on the 50-yard line and then they hold hands and they pray in a circle. Um, and I think a few years back there was a quarterback called Mark Brunell. He used to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, he raised the point about religion, about he wanted to know whether it was good to play on Sundays because he was a religious player. So he was kind of torn. It seems like in his devotion between football and his faith. So that's one thing that I remember. And I was thinking about it yesterday. Tim Tebow is, right?
Yes, I do.
I was, obviously he's from Florida as well, University of Florida.
I meant at Jesus Christ of Florida.
He's the Jesus Christ of Florida. You got it. So obviously he's not.
You go to Gainesville, he can go anywhere, do anything, and anything you want, he can get in Gainesville.
Basically, he could run for governor of Florida and win, right?
Man, yeah, they love Tim Tebow. That Tim Tebow, yeah, he is the Jesus Christ of Florida.
Exactly. But obviously, Jesus Christ of Florida is not playing in the NFL right now. His last team that he tried to play for is the New England Patriots, and he didn't make the team. But that's not what I was thinking about. Obviously, he's like the very very outspoken about his Christian faith. But I was thinking that he's a quarterback as well. I don't know if you know about the Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it. I'm like, Hail Marys is basically based on the term. And for those of you who don't know, let me make sure I describe so everybody is on the same page. Hail Mary is when a quarterback basically throws the ball, usually from very far away, in the hopes of having one of his receivers catch the ball. Usually when they're behind and it's like in the last few seconds of a game or in the last few seconds of a half. And Hail Marys have a very low percentage as far as working because most of the time the defense knows that you're throwing it and they have lots of their guys waiting and it doesn't usually work. So they call it Hail Mary because Hail, they're calling Mary the mother of Jesus to give him a prayer of a chance. Obviously, that's where the name comes from. But Hail Marys usually don't work. I mean, I'm guessing the percentage is like 5% or less. And then you have Tim Tebow, who's very religious, and he got cut. So I wonder, do Christians give pause to that as far as the very few times that the prayer is answered? Number one, and also, do they think about how Tim Tebow, didn't make it in the sport? I mean, does that affect their faith in any way, shape, or form, do you think?
Like remember last week, Christianity is just like it's like formless, It can fit anything and it'll always make an excuse or have a reason for why something didn't happen. Or they'll say, God maybe didn't want him to be a quarterback. Maybe God wanted him to be famous so he could start a church or something. You never know.
Okay, so they have ways of getting around that.
I'm telling you, Bill, that's how I see Christianity and religion. You can't really put it in the box because it's just formless. It'll make up an excuse. It'll do something. It always has a reason.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they would make the connection as far as the fact that the Hail Marys don't work and Tim Tebow didn't make it in the NFL. I mean, I don't know what he's doing right now. Do you know what he's doing? Is he back in Florida? Like, is he preaching?
As far as I know, they was just saying that he the position a team got him in the position that he was going for as far as quarterback. That wasn't nothing. And like as far as him trying to get another position, that'll probably work out a little bit better. But as far as quarterback position, he's just not as mobile, and he can't, he's not as strong, or his percentage and throwing and everything like that just not as accurate as the regular quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not on the elite. He's still at they have different levels. He's still at maybe his skills are still good for college, no problem. They'll win bowls and all that there. But when it comes to NFL, when everybody is basically come from championship teams, or they're the best of the best, so it's not like he's going against some college team. He's going against a team that has everybody that's on the best, just like he came from the best.
Okay. All right. So he's obviously not in the NFL, and that's basically the bottom line because
what I think they're trying to do, from what I've heard from speaking to other people, I think they're trying to see if they can get him to play another position. He's a very religious guy. They love him in Florida. In the NFL, I'm pretty sure they still love him, and they want to give him a chance because he's kind of like that religious guy and he's whatever. But there's only so much of a chance that they can give you. I'm pretty sure he probably has somebody that's probably training him for a different position. But as far as him being quarterback, I don't see that happening anymore.
Okay. So once again, everybody, this is the Haitian Freethinkers show. My name is Reggie, along with my co-host James. The guest calling number is 646-652-4442, 646-652-4442. We are one of the very few secular groups that targets people of Haitian descent, but we do not discriminate. We can be found on Facebook. Just Google us. That's Haitian Freethinkers. And so tonight we're talking about different topics. We covered Robert Smith. We talked about your church visit. Now, Veterans Day is coming up on Monday. Do you have any thoughts on that in relation to religion? Because I don't know if you know the story of Pat Tillman.
Oh yeah, I've heard the story of about it and everything like that. I know from what I remember, I think he was killed, and then by, I guess, friendly fire, and they tried to cover it up or something like that to that effect.
That's correct. For those who don't know, Pat Tillman used to play in the NFL. He was a safety, I believe, for the Arizona Cardinals. He wore number 40. He was a white guy. And after the events of 9/11 happened in New York, he left football. And I think he had just signed a contract, so he was making millions of dollars. Yeah. And he left football to join the Army, and he became part of the Army Rangers, which is a special forces type of group. And so he became a badass, Army-wise. And then he eventually made his way to Afghanistan, where he got killed by friendly fire. Now, it's confirmed that it was friendly fire, but because of the situation that he got killed in, they tried to cover it up, and eventually there was an investigation. They found out it was friendly fire, and there was a lot of brouhaha about that. But the reason why we're talking about Pat Tillman is because he was an atheist and he was not quiet about it. So he was doing his whole mission with the Army based on being an American patriot, and people like to talk about how he was a patriot and he left millions of dollars to go join the Army, but people don't like to talk about the fact that he was an atheist. And still today, being an atheist in the military is not exactly, promoted. So just like the NFL, like you mentioned earlier, it's a very tough culture to kind of like, promote secular values. So that's what I think about, as Veteran Day approaches. What about you? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I have cousins and I have a few best friends and friends that I went to high school with that were in the military, and they got out of the military. But I thought I read that about Pat Tillman being atheist, but that was just a skim over and everything like that. And when you said that, it just kind of made me think, and then he was atheist, and he got killed with friendly fire, and I don't know, it's just yeah, I want to look at that investigation. And matter of fact, you made me want to look at that more and just see a little bit more and what's the update on that.
Yeah. Please do take a look at it. We can talk about it some more on the next show. Once again, this is the Haitian Freethinkers Show. I'm Reggie with my co-host James. The calling number is 646-652-4442. That's 646-652-4442. We're coming up on about 3.5 minutes left on this episode. So Veterans Day is coming up, 11 November. And is there any chance that you're going to be going to a church anytime soon?
I was thinking about maybe going to 6th Street Church of Christ. I attended there when I first moved to Lakeland. I used to go to 2nd Street Church of Christ in Winter Haven, Florida. And once I had moved to Lakeland, we looked for another Church of Christ, and I found one. But I'm thinking about going in there and just seeing it. And I seen an old friend of mine that actually went to that church. And so she was talking to me, and she was like, hey, we miss you down in the church. Why don't you come down? So I didn't tell her, as far as I'm an atheist or anything now. So I just think about just walking in there and just keeping my head in.
Okay.
And then, I'll give you guys an update on it. I'm just thinking about it, though.
We talked about the whole Jewish situation before the show. Can you let us know about your experience with the Jewish people in relation to how they're treating some refugees out in Israel?
Yes. Last week we were talking about how they were treating Sudanese people and telling them they need to go back to their country and, this is my homeland, go home, this is not your land, and all this stuff. But I remember being, when I used to sell books and magazine subscriptions door to door in L.A. County, there was a whole, community, and no one would even, talk to me, would stop me, have a conversation to figure out what I was doing, even in the neighborhood. And finally, one guy, he spoke to me. He's like, what are you doing out here? And I was telling him what I was doing. He was like, well, nobody thinks he's going to buy anything from you here. And they don't support anything unless it's, it's Jewish. And it was getting a little late, and I only made one sale, and it was with this one guy. He wouldn't even open his door. He had a little mail slot in his door, and I was passing my packet, and he was passing the money, just making a quick exchange. He basically wanted me to get out of his yard, so he just bought something real fast so I could get out of his yard. And so for some reason, I don't know, Jewish people, unless you're Jewish, they don't really back you, and that's just my experience on it.
So,
serious, but I'm just speaking about it.
So if you were white but not Jewish, do you think the situation would have been the same?
I almost think so, yeah, actually, because they know who's Jewish and who's not Jewish. Maybe they would have been a little bit more acceptable of me if I was white, but because I was black, they were like, no. But the guy was basically telling me, unless you're Jewish, they won't support anything that's not Jewish.
That's pretty interesting. We're coming up on about 30 seconds left on regulation time. Of course, we usually get about 10 minutes or so of overtime, I call it. But join us next Saturday, once again at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as James and I discuss more topics of interest here on the Haitian Freethinkers Show on Block Radio. And if you wish to get in touch with us, please do. Email us at haitianfreethinkers@gmail.com. That's haitianfreethinkers, all one word, @gmail.com. And that's where you can reach us, email us, ask us any questions, because we know there are people out there who are interested in what we're doing and have questions, comments, concerns, and that's where you can go and find us. We are also on Facebook, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, and we have a YouTube channel. So by Googling Haitian Free Thinkers, you should be able to find all that. Also, be on the lookout for Haitian Atheist. That's the blog where we have some more information out there. So we thank everybody for taking the time to listen to the show, and we are now officially on overtime. So let's see. So you think that if you were white, you might have had an easier time, but basically, if you're black, you're scarred.
Yeah, because if you're white, I mean, I don't know. Do Jewish people consider themselves white? Because I'm thinking, because if I'm white and I'm walking down the neighborhood, you wouldn't know, unless I say, "Oh, I'm not Jewish," or "I'm German," or something like that. Unless I'm dressed Hasidically, then you would know that, okay, he's a Hasidic Jew. But if I'm just a white person, they probably give me more of a chance or try to want to find out, hey, are you Jewish or not?
I don't know if you heard about the situation with, like, you ever met some black Hebrew Israelites?
I've seen them on the corner, but never really sat down and spoke to them.
Okay. Well, to make a long story short, one of their main claims is that, the white people, they're people that most people know as Jews are not really Jews, that they're late converts from Europe, and that basically the real Jews are basically black people. That's like one of their big selling points. So I don't know if a lot of Hasidic white Jews know about that, if they care about it, but I don't think that that they've never really had an open debate that I know of, where they would like discuss the origins of the ancient Israelites. So if the white Hasidic Jews did say that, well, at least some of the ancient Israelites had some color on them, I wonder how they would feel about their behavior towards people of color today, especially the Sudanese people. Do you think that would make any difference in Israel?
No, I don't know it to be exact. I don't know, but for some reason they just I don't. From what I see Jewish people, it's almost like it's like the history. You're not really sure of what the history. It just seems like some people that just showed up with nothing, and then they just said, "This is our land and this is our history." You know what I'm saying? That's what it just basically seems like, because like I said, Exodus might not be true. Like the whole book. Well, I don't believe in the Bible, so Exodus wasn't true or anything like that. So if there wasn't slaves really in Egypt, then where did they come from? Like if where Israel is not your the original land, I'm just not understanding what the real history of Israel people. I don't really understand. I don't know it.
Okay. Well, this is a interesting segue in a way. So I'm not sure if we have any Jews of any sort that's listening or will listen, but we are certainly open to having somebody from that side come and represent. That way, that we can get some of these questions answered. Because last show, I believe, we did touch upon Shine, the former rapper Shine. Well, he didn't convert because supposedly his grandmother was Jewish, so he's doing like big things now as what looks like a Hasidic Jew. You can catch him online. Just go on YouTube and put Shine, SHYNE, Jew, and he'll pop up, and he looks different. He has a little curly fry thing going on, and the top of his head is bald, and it's a transformation from what he was, but he's still a gangster. So it's really an amazing thing to see, and so he talks amongst the white Jews. He went to Israel, and it's just a different thing to see. I'm not used to that, but they say Drake is Jewish. I've seen one video where he's having a bar mitzvah or whatever they call that. So his mom is white Jewish, right?
Yeah, but his mom, if you see his mom is she looks like maybe she was mixed. She doesn't look like she's not just like white, and she's not just black. She's she's light skinned, and she when I first saw her, I was like, well, maybe his dad is a Jewish one, but then just recently I seen a video of his dad. They were talking to his dad, and his dad is just like some light skinned ex-blues singer,
Okay.
So, his mom may have been, like half white, half black, and one of them there was Jewish.
Okay. I can look him up and see what I find.
His dad's like very light skinned, and kind of looks like fake blue or something.
But his family comes from Canada, right? He's Canadian?
Yeah, he's Canadian. I think his mom is the Canadian one, and his dad is like from America somewhere, and his dad traveled to Canada, and that's when he met his mom and stuff.
Okay. That's excellent. So I'll look more into that and see what I find. But of course, where his parents from, what they look like ultimately, is not the biggest deal to us because
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up more about Black Israelites. I'm gonna see what their message is and everything, because I remember being in church a long time ago, and one of the youth preachers or everything in class, he was saying that he believes in Black Israel. I remember him saying that in class. He said, "Yes, I do believe that that there are Black Israelites and stuff like that," and then he just left it at that. He didn't want to keep going, because then it would have been going against, I guess, the teachers of the Church of Christ, what they were teaching.
Oh, okay. All right, very well. So next week we're going to talk about Black Israelites and all things related to that topic. This was another really great show, so I'm going to let everybody know once again that next Saturday, which will be the 16th? The 16th will be our next show at 11:30 p.m. Once again, this is the Haitian Free Thinker Show. My name is Reggie, and that is my co-host James. We are signing out, so we look forward to hearing from you. Once again, haitianfreethinkers@gmail.com is how you can get in contact with us. Google us. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time, and have a great night.
Good night, people.